Cowboy Bebop is a legendary science fiction slash neo-noir anime series. Set in the year 2071, it's about the adventures of a gang of bounty hunters, space cowboys in a way, that are constantly risking their lives to chase a criminal, or in some cases to save the day. A theme in the show is how sometimes the story delves into the unresolved issues of our main cast's past. The anime explores concepts such as existentialism, loneliness, and the inability to escape one's past. Created by Shinichiro Watanabe, Cowboy Bebop is a melting pot of genres. Each episode feels very distinct from each other, but most heavily is inspired by science fiction classics, as well as westerns and noir films. Important as well are the character designs from Toshiro Kawamoto, the mechanical inventions of Kimitoshi Yamane, and we cannot forget the iconic soundtrack from composer Yoko Kanno. Bebop is 26 episodes long, released in 1998, with a subsequent film in 2001. Cowboy Bebop has gained widespread critical acclaim, and has won numerous awards in the field of animation and science fiction. It's been recognized for its unique style, plot, animation, and soundtrack, and over the years, the series has unfolded as a masterpiece in Japanese animation, with many critics considering it one of the best anime of all time. With such recognition, of course a live-action adaptation was destined to be made. This video is part of a project series in which I try to explain the differences between the anime and the live-action counterpart adaptation, while also giving a general rundown of the series. This is Live v Anime. In this episode, I'll focus on the Netflix adaptation that released the 19th of November in 2021. It should be noted that there are going to be spoilers for the original Cowboy Bebop anime, and some light spoilers from the Bebop movie. Be aware, and with that, we start. Episode 1 starts in a casino. There's a robbery ongoing and we already have similarities. The main bad guy preaches like the thug in the convenience store in the movie. Says he worked there before, just like the anime thug. It's similar really, just that here is a casino, hinting to the third episode of the anime. Anyways, Spike enters the scene with headphones and all, like the movie. By the way, I have to mention, probably one of the biggest differences is that Spike is portrayed by John Cho, and I feel like he's too old for the role. In the anime, Spike is around 27 years old, but Cho is 49. It's a different interpretation of the character, an older Spike. I mean, I get it, I like the end result, but still, not a huge fan of the age discrepancy. Anyways, they start to fight, and eventually Jet comes through the roof, just like in the movie. Jet is portrayed by Mustafa Shakir, and I gotta say, I really like live-action Jet. He's probably the character that is closest to its anime portrayal. It's a very faithful adaptation of Jet. Well, just like in the movie, the leader gets a hostage, and Spike is like, I don't care if the old lady dies, I'm not a hero, I'm a cowboy, bitch. Another thug comes out of the bathroom like the movie, but this time he uses a special weapon to fire against a wall, and creates a vacuum hole, which absorbs everything in the room. We were in a space station all along. Anyways, every thug dies except the leader. After the opening, which is similar to the original, we have the same flashbacks of Spike reminiscing his past with Julia, just like the anime. We are at the Bebop traveling through an astral gate, which are these gigantic space highways in the original show. The Bebops eat beef and bell peppers, like in the show. We are now in Tijuana, and we see Asimov and Katerina entering a bar. Fun fact, the anime took inspiration for this character from the movie Desperado, with Selma Hayek and Antonio Banderas. Anyhow, we see that Asimov is more caring for his wife than his anime counterpart. Katerina is pregnant, so she asks water in the bar tap, where she's given alcohol. In the anime, she asks straight up for alcohol. Weird change. Asimov shoves the red eye to the bartender, and we have the syndicate ambush. Just like the anime, they kill the bartender, and we have the sequence of Asimov high as balls, killing the assassins. The Bebop comes out of the astral gate and arrives to Europe. They deliver the bounty to the ISSP, which are basically space cops. Jet meets up with an old partner in the station. This is Police Officer Chalmers, an original character for the show. He mentions Jet's ex-wife. Yes, Jet had a wife in the Netflix adaptation, who is now married to another ISSP officer. The whole story of Jet's past in Ganymede, his ex, and the whole Alisa and her lover escaping from the police is not in the live action. Anyways, we have Spike training, similar to the anime. They discuss their new bounty, and Jet mentions that he has a daughter. Yes, it's weird, in the anime he doesn't have a daughter, but it strangely fits right as the whole show continues. Whatever, the Bebop arrive at Tijuana, and Spike does some investigation. Jet interviews the bartender about what happened. Unlike the anime, in which he gets a syndicate assassin to tell him what's up. The old trio also appears in the live action, and tells Spike where to find Asimov. Spike meets Katerina, but it's quite different in the anime. In the original, he sees Asimov in the bathroom, and later meets Katerina in the street. Here, they meet in front of a pharmacy. They start to talk, and Spike starts to hit on her. But man, it's still pretty weird, the age gap. Strangely, Faye appears and pulls a gun to Spike, and is hostile towards Katerina. In the anime, Faye meets Spike in the casino episode. Faye is portrayed by Daniela Pineda, and I also love her in this show. It's a different interpretation of Faye, but still, she creates a lot of dynamic in the group, and I like her energy. Faye starts to talk about how she was paid by Katerina's father to find her. In the live action, Katerina has a rich family. In the anime, she has no one except Asimov. Whatever, Faye and Spike start to fight and the couple drives off. Spike aims to Katerina, but she does some Jedi mind trick crap, and he hesitates. Like in the anime, the Bebops cuff Faye in the bathroom. Spike goes out in the swordfish, but Jet uses a regular motorcycle. In the live action, he doesn't have Hammerhead. Like in the anime, Faye escapes the bathroom. The Bebops ambush the couple, and Spike tries to make a deal with Katerina. Asimov and her are way cheesier than the anime. Here it's a literal soap opera, these two. He uses the red eye again, and the syndicate comes to fuck the place. There's a gunfight, and one bullet pierces Katerina's belly, which was full of red eyes, just like in the anime. Asimov almost chokes Jet till asphyxiation, but Faye comes and saves the day. The couple leaves, and Spike follows them in the swordfish. Like in the anime, they are ambushed by the cops, but this time Asimov is dying from the shot Faye gave to him. Spike tries to save Katerina, but she says fuck it. She doesn't kill Asimov like in the anime, so it's not as tragic here. But she still gets fucked by the cops, like in the original. Also, Vicious appears in the end and Julia, and they're a couple now. They make out, which is weird since they are not a thing by that time in the anime, but they have a whole storyline now. Anyways, the episode ends. God damn, the episode 2 starts with the bounty hunting show. It's identical to the anime. They talk about the Teddy Bomber, the same character from the anime, but that's it. This is a new story about him. There's no old school cowboy. Anyways, the Bebops are in a stakeout. The bomber comes, but escapes, since Spike was busy with a syndicate assassin. Since now Vicious knows that Spike is alive, he sends someone to kill him. This is not a thing in the anime. It's pretty different. Anyways, Jet analyzes the evidence left by the bomber, his hand. We are now with the couple in a jazz bar, and we are presented to Anastasia, the owner of the bar. She's very different from the anime. Instead of running a convenience store, she rolls a whole damn operation. Also, there's no mention of Mao. Also, we are presented to Gren. He's probably the least similar to the anime. He doesn't play the sax, he's not a war veteran, he doesn't have a vendetta against Vicious, and more importantly, he doesn't have titties. I think. Anyways, Spike meets Anastasia and talk about the syndicate, like in the anime. Jet is still investigating about the bomber. Also, the Bebop now has an AI called Marvin. I don't wanna sound mean, but Spike looks older than Anastasia. She tells him that Julia is married now to Vicious. She's been for a few years. Okay? That's completely different from the anime. We are at Vicious' home now, and he and Julia are having a Skype chat with the syndicate elders. They accuse him of selling the red eye, and let me tell you, Vicious now is a fucking pussy. I hate him. I hate live-action Vicious. They transform an awesome, quiet, stoic character like Vicious into a fucking crybaby. The elders force Vicious to kill Julia, so he fires, but the chamber was empty. The Bebops investigate some, and they reach the bomber's hideout. Vicious and Julia start to fight, and he assaults her. So now we know that he is the bad guy. The Bebops get into the bomber's ship, and it lifts off. They try to escape since the ship is now in danger, but they find the bomber, dressed as a teddy bear. They fight and win, but Jet steps on a pressure mine. Spike quickly changes positions with him, and the episode ends. So we don't know what's the outcome of the whole mine thing. The third episode has the least things from the original anime, so I'm going to give a brief summary with the important parts. Jet wants to buy a doll for his daughter, but he has no money, so they take a bounty. They do some research and find that the bounty has a device that lets him change his face. There are no face surgeries here like in the anime. While they stake out for the bounty with a device that lets them glitch his face, Jet is buying a doll from the black market. You know, like that one episode of The Office. Important, Spike asks about Jet's past, and they talk about the bastard who did that to his arm. He believes that it was Chambers, his co-Paul. The bounty comes to the bar and he's called by his real name, Hakim. It's the same guy from episode 2. Hakim's disguise tech works again. He fights with Spike but escapes. Yada yada, we now have some Vicious and Julia's story, but I swear I don't care about them. They are not important. While looking for Hakim, they find Ayn and follow him to where Hakim is. Apparently, dogs are incredibly rare in this universe, unlike the anime, which they were very common. Hakim is a dog stealer, because it doesn't matter look a sniper kills him. It was the ISSP, because they are cunts who didn't want to pay the Bebops. Different to the anime in which Hakim crashed into the ISSP station and captured alive. In the end, Jet goes to his daughter's birthday, in a normal, regular-ass suburbs house. He gives her Ayn as a birthday gift, but his ex-wife is like, fuck you, I ain't paying for dog food. So Jet keeps Ayn. In the end, Spike hunts Vicious, calls him,
Mushy mushy.
says he will not kill him, and lets him live. I don't know why. It's completely different from the anime. In the original, Spike has a hard-on for killing Vicious. I hate live-action Vicious, bro. I hate him. Episode 4 starts with Faye cruising through space. She confronts the man who woke her up early from her cryosleep. Quite different from the anime. In the original show, she's woken up since her healing process was done, but she's now with a crippling debt for the whole procedure. Also, she gets scammed by her supposed lawyer. Here, she doesn't have any debt whatsoever. She's not as confused as her anime counterpart. She knows all the proceedings of recovering her memory via a memory kit. The scam in the live action is just from insurance money. Also, we don't have the actual flashback, like the whole reawakening process like in the anime. In the middle of the negotiation, some eco-terrorist attacks the opera lobby. They are the same organization from the anime. The difference is that their virus doesn't transform humans into monkeys, but transforms them into trees. That's fucked up. Anyways, the terrorists leave with the scammer and Faye chases them. They steal her ship, but we can see that it's not the Red Tail. It's just a regular sci-fi ship. Now the Bebops are talking about bidets, and Faye comes out of nowhere. She didn't appear in the last 2 episodes, so I guess they're friends now. Anyways, she tells them about the terrorists and wants them to team up with a 60-40 split, like in the anime. The Bebops are in the ship with Faye, and she's surprised to see a real-life dog. Again, in the anime they were not rare. Here she says they are worth between 20 and 30 million woolongs. In the anime, it was worth 2 woolongs. While the guys are talking about the bounty, Faye steals the swordfish and Ayn. We have more Vicious, Julia crap, but it's not important. I don't care about them. Faye gets where to her ship is. She sees the scammer transformed into a tree, and Spike and Jet ambushes her. Jet fixes her shoulder and gives her food against Spike wishes. They decide to work together. We have more Julia sideline, but I hate her. This show now feels like a drama. Mao is a woman in this adaptation, by the way. The Bebops go to a terraform, find the eco-terrorists, and decides to stop them, while also saving the day. While Faye is chasing the terrorists, she gets a call from the mastermind of her scam, Whitney Haggis Matsumoto. She arranges somewhere to meet, but before she leaves she sees a missile going to the Bebops, so she comes back and stops it. Also, the guy stops a missile sequence that had the virus. One eco-terrorist sets up a tree bomb, similar to the anime, where they transform into monkeys. Faye wakes up and Spike invites her to join the team. Episode 5 starts with a flashback of Jet when he was a cop, and his partner Fad, the same character from the anime. They go to a residence building and he starts chasing Uday, same guy as the anime as well. He's ambushed and loses his arm, just like in the original. After the opening, the Bebops are talking about showers, and the bounty show starts. In the bounty list, Uday comes up and Jet gets triggered. It's not the same story as the anime, in which Uday is transporting a prisoner's ship to space jail. We get some exposition about Jet's past and how he was charged from being a dirty cop and sentenced 5 years in prison. This is show original, but we know that he was charged wrongly about this. Jet is clean as he gets. He meets up with Fad and believes that it was Chambers the one who betrayed him. We have more political drama with these two ding-dongs. We have some funny Spike Faye chit-chat. I really like their dynamic. Jet and Fad goes to a hookah bar and start investigating the whereabouts of Uday. In one scene, Fad plays the harmonica, a hint to the kid player from the anime, I guess. Vicious comes in scene, but I'm getting tired of this Game of Thrones Targaryen looking ass. I literally couldn't care less about his side plot. Faye and Spike in this version are quite friendly between each other, not like in the anime, where they are indifferent between each other. The cops are at the port, looking for Uday. They find him and Jet corners him, but Fad headshots Uday, just like the anime. In the end, Jet shoots him. Chambers comes and says, "Get out of here." Jet leaves the bet money. In the anime, he gives Fad a last cigarette. Also, I fucking hate Vicious and Julia. Episode 6. Jet is with a mechanic, fixing the Bebop, and he starts getting messages from Radical Ed. So live action Ed is aware of the Bebops, just like in the anime. Jet forces Spike to hunt Dr. Londes, the cult leader like in the anime, and Faye is having a little crush on the mechanic. Spike goes to the Scientology Center to seek Dr. Londes, kinda like in the anime. Just like in the original, there is a VR introduction to the cult, but instead of Jet, Spike, the one who experiments with it. He says fuck it and goes outside, but while trying to get back, he meets Julia in the street and she warns him about the syndicate. This is not at all like the anime. She gets killed, but it's okay because it was just a simulation. Spike is trapped in a computer and he's royally fucked. Also, remember that in the anime, Ed was a fundamental part to defeat the cult leader. The cult is scanning Spike's brain for the virtual transformation. While this is happening, Jet comes to the real side of the cult and finds Spike trapped. A random guy comes and says that Radical Ed sent him to save Spike. He says that he's the creator of the cult leader. It's an AI. In the anime, it's not artificial. In reality, it's the virtual avatar of a little kid who wanted every human to live in the internet with him. Anyways, Faye and the mechanic fucked. She says that she's been awake for 2 years. In the anime, it's been 3. Spike and the Julia VTuber go to a motel room and talk about Vicious. The hacker tells Jet that they have to cut the mainframe to save Spike. The servers are on Earth, so Jet's going straight there. Jet cockblocks Faye and tells them to dress, they're saving Spike. While this is happening, Spike is having a non-stakes shootout with Virtual Syndicate to save Virtual Julia. The Bebops land on Earth, and Faye uses her railgun to destroy the mainframe and save Spike. Anyways, there's no bounty for Londes. It was just a rogue AI. Kinda like the AI in episode 9 of the anime. Episode 7 started with Faye telling Spike how horny she is, until she meets Whitney Haggis Matsumoto. In this version, she's a woman. Instead of acting as a love interest for Faye, she acted as her mother for the scam. She wants a lift, and in exchange, she will give Faye her identity kit. In this version, every cryo sleeper gets a kit that's supposed to help them recover their memories. Unlike the anime in which a patient is royally fucked, Faye obliges, and Matsumoto passes as Faye's mom. Spike starts hitting on Matsumoto, and the Bebops decide to help her. Now we have the Julia story side, but I don't care about her. Also, VP's truck make a cameo in the Astral Highway. Faye and Matsumoto are arguing, and Jet starts to get suspicious about the whole ordeal. So he scans Matsumoto's face and finds out that she's a con artist. Faye starts explaining everything. They get a Skype call from an arms dealer looking for Matsumoto. It's his husband, and he wants to kill them all. Jet wants to cash in the bounty, but in the end, they decide that Matsumoto will return the identity kit. While the Bebops try to stop the arms dealer, we also have more vicious Coop storyline. I don't give a fuck. In the anime, we didn't need a 10-long episode side story to understand why Vicious was unhappy with the syndicate. Anyways, Faye and Matsumoto steal a car and starts bonding. Jet gets in a Zoom call to watch his daughter's ballet, and there's a really funny scene with him.
It really means a lot to her that you're here.
I'd fight the world to make sure I showed up.
Faye reaches Matsumoto's hideout and she tries to recruit her to be a partner in crime, but Faye decides to recover her memory. And in her locker, she finds a VHS, similar to the anime actually. The arms dealer finds them and aims at Matsumoto with the intent to kill them, until she says their safe word and he kills his assistant. In the end, it was just a kinky roleplay between her and her husband. Anyways, Faye steals her iconic red tail. The Bebops play face tape in the VHS. In the anime, the tape was actually a beta tape. The technology was so ancient that the guys had a whole adventure to get one. Here they just had it laying in the Bebop. The tape is similar to the anime. Kid Faye has a written message for her future self. Episode 8 starts with Vicious assaulting a medical facility, and he releases a prisoner. It's actually Pierrot LeFou, the same experimented on criminal from the anime. The difference here is that he hates dogs instead of cats. He's actually kinda normal in the live action. He has regular conversations. In the anime he was legit insane. Anyways, the Bebops are playing bowling and decide to make Faye's birthday today, since they don't really know when is her actual birthday. They exit the bowl alley and Pierrot appears. They start to fight. Different from the anime, since Spike is the only one who actually fought Pierrot. Anyways, the madman fucks Spike up and almost kills the remaining Bebops until Ayn comes to the scene and triggers LeFou. The Bebops escape. They get back to the ship and treat Spike bounce, similar to the anime. LeFou hacks Ayn's brain. Apparently they came from the same lab. He sends a calling card to the Bebop to come to the amusement park. This is probably the most similar storyline as the original show. The biggest difference is that LeFou is an assassin from Vicious, instead of a regular ass killer in the anime. Uncharacteristic from the Bebops though, they leave Ayn behind in the docks, in fear of LeFou hacking him again. We have more Vicious bullcrap. He is delivered to the elders for treason, kinda like in the anime, just that now Mao is present. The whole Vicious side plot was about how he was planning the coup, but oh no, mistake. Mao betrays Vicious, says the Lannister sends their regards, and chops his head off. Absolutely different from the anime. He was an assassin. Wait! It's not the real one! Damn, that was good actually. Anyways, Vicious kills everyone in the room. He reveals that one of the elders is his father and how resentful he is. This is live action original, by the way. It's not really that important. Mao, in her last wishes, tells Vicious that she's sorry for failing the mission that Julia gave her, which was killing Vicious. Spike meets LeFou alone in the park, just like the anime. They fight. It's not as impressive as the anime, but does the job. Spike throws a toy dog that triggers LeFou fear, and hits him with a pocket knife. Similar to the anime, he starts crying for his mommy, but now he just goes floating upwards. We don't know if he dies, really. In the anime, he's squashed by an animatronic. Vision comes home, but I don't care. I don't care about him. Episode 9 is mostly an original show episode, but some elements are similar to the anime. So I'ma try to do a brief summary. We see Vicious and Spike when they were partners killing a district attorney. Similar to the anime, where they were partners in crime as well. Vicious goes a little off board and Spike gets angry. We now have the pair talking with their boss in Anastasia's bar, until Julia comes to the scene and Spike falls in love. Kinda like in the anime, they also meet in a bar. Also, Vicious falls in love. It's known that Spike, Vicious and Julia were in a romantic triangle in the anime. Spike and Vicious were sent to a mission, but Vicious fucks it up and gets jailed for it. More chit chat, Spike tells Julia that he and Vicious were friends since they were kids, that Vicious saved his life one day, and that it was his idea to get into the syndicate. This is mostly show original. We don't know much about Spike's past in the anime. Some shit happens and Vicious kills someone from the Neptune cartel, while Spike cocks him with Julia. The syndicate now wants Vicious dead and sends Spike to kill him, but he refuses it and helps Vicious to escape the assassins. He goes to a Neptune cartel headquarters, I don't know, and he kills a bunch of thugs to avoid the war. Also, the choreography is kinda cool here. After that, Spike wants out of the syndicate and tells Julia to escape with him. Similar to the anime, Spike also wants out, just that without the whole I'ma save Vicious ass. Like in the anime, Vicious gets angry with Spike for leaving the syndicate with Julia. But in the live action, Vicious attempts to assassinate Spike in their meeting point. In the anime, Spike faked his death in an apparent sacrifice when he was still working for the syndicate. The last episode starts with the present. Vicious assaults Julia, but she calls him a cock. This breaks Vicious. Spike wakes up in Anna's bar after his fight with LeFou. Apparently, Gran picked him up while he was passed out. Weird. Faye is doing some research on her past after seeing a familiar name in the park while looking for Spike. Jet tells her that he found Spike and she says that she's interested in looking for her childhood home. But Jet says, hold up, first let's find Spike and then we will help you do your thing. Very different from the anime, since Faye went in her spiritual rediscovery without the guys, only with Ed. The Bebops come to the bar, Jet gets a little too effective, but he gets a call from her daughter. But, oh no, it's the syndicate, and they want an exchange. The girl for Spike. Jet is really angry about Spike's revelation, and he treats him like a bounty. Faye gets some reason into Jet and leaves him. I kinda hate this trope. They use the little girl as a leverage, but it be like that sometimes, you know. Anyway, Jet and Spike weren't into that plan at all, and kill a bunch of thugs, but they realize that Vicious with the girl were only a projection. They get ambushed after all. Spike and Jet wake up, beaten up in a church, identical to the one in the anime. Just that this time, that's the only similarity. The church in the anime was the place Faye was trapped, and the first time both Vicious and Spike met after their separation. Here, it's just used as a backdrop for Spike's assassination. I guess it's funny that in this version, Faye is the one saving the day, not running away. Anyways, the Bebops leave, but Spike stays. He kills Lin and Shin. Yes, they were in the show. No, they were not relevant to the story. Spike and Vicious reenact their iconic battle in front of the crystal mosaic, but this time Vicious almost kills Spike, but he's saved by Julia. Though what happens next is insane, so hold up. Julia gets power hungry and says that she and him could rule the syndicate by killing Vicious. She spills nonsense and she shoots Spike, who falls through the window. Holy shit. I hate her. It's insane how different this is from the anime. Jet is sad about how he endangered his daughter's life, and Faye is leaving the Bebops because she wants to find out who she really is. She gives Jet a sweet hug. Julia has Vicious as a prisoner for season 2, I guess. Her story's fucking cringe, man. She's now the bad guy. Jet is pissed off at Spike, saying that the next time he sees him, he'll kill him. In the last scene, we have Spike, drunk in an alley, regretful of what happened, and we reach maximum cringe when Ed appears. Yes, she's in the show. I suppose you have seen the clip on Twitter. It's really rough, man. She doesn't work in live action. Also, she's with Ayn. Ed name drops the bad guy from the movie, and the show's end. The end. And that's it. That's Netflix live action Cowboy Bebop. In hindsight, I could have expected a much worse adaptation. But to be real with you guys, I actually liked a lot this version. It's very different from the original anime. It doesn't have the slow, philosophical moments that the original had, but it's entertaining in its own way. I love the dynamic of the Bebops as a whole, and yes, while John Cho's Spike is goofier, and while it's not as serious and introspective as the original one, I like the way he connects with his companions. Here now the Bebops feel like a family that care for each other. While some parts of the show felt very cringy, and I swear you can chop all that Vicious Julia storyline, you end up with a really cozy, silly show about space cowboys. That's enough for today. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and comment your thoughts about the Netflix show. I'm honestly hoping for a second season. Well, see you, Space Cowboy. Bye bye.